Our perfect game player of the week is ready to go. Broder Katke is the name, and you can check out the stats and the measurables for our 2027 grad. Little catcher, little first base, little third base at a Bloomfield Hill, Michigan, and a PG grade 9. He's committed to Duke. Let's get into it. If he's going to Duke, he's going to have some fun with the hoops games too.
Yeah.
And Broder joins us right now. Broder, great to have you on. Congrats on being the perfect game player of the week, powered by Launch Hydrate. How you doing? And did you have a week?
Yeah, it was a great week. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Nice.
Of course. Run through it for us. So, like, what's been your favorite part about getting some successful at bats together lately and shining really in a national spotlight here?
Yeah, so I say, the 13U Select Fest, I've been 2 times this year. I went to the 13U1, the 14U1. Yeah, it means a ton. Those, Perfect Game is really, they've done a great job of putting guys on the spotlight in the 13U Select Fest. It's awesome being able to compete with, the top guys in the country and being able to stack myself up against those guys and seeing, how far I've come along and just being able to see that I belong there.
You ready to be a student at Duke? You got
I hope
some
so.
years yet. That's some big shoes to fill. You got to keep some grades up for the next 4 years in high school.
Yeah, so my high school I'm going to, it's a pretty, vigorous academic schedule, and Duke helped me pick out all my classes for that and just determined what I need to do. Obviously pretty high GPA to get in there, but Country Day, the high school I'm going to, is helping me keep it all under control.
Hey, my question to you is: it says catcher, first base, third base. What do you prefer right now? And do you see yourself, maybe changing position? It says you can do a couple different ones.
No, I'm a catcher. I play
Okay.
first when I'm not catching, but yeah, I'm a catcher.
You might
Of course
need,
you are.
You might need to take.
He sounds
Kratzy's
like a
number right
catcher. Do you know what I'm saying?
He does sound like a catcher. He's got his. Were you late for this interview?
No, early.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Early. Exactly.
He was early. And
exactly.
Now I got to ask you though, being the fact that you want to be a catcher, is that why you cut your hair? Because your pick, you had some big salad on that picture, and now you got you're little trimmed up. School just started.
Cool.
School.
And it's hot.
Trim it up.
Yeah, in the Florida summers, it's also hot. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
It is hot. I know.
It can't be.
I live it. But dude, I say that you sound like a catcher because you are very well spoken. You are in what grade?
I just started my freshman year.
I mean, come on. You are very well spoken. We'll say it for you. But if you can do interviews like this, you are already ahead of quite a few ball players that I've interviewed over the last few years in terms of just the way that you get a message across and actually have thoughtful words coming out. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Fair to say.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I got a question for you. So you just started your freshman year. You already committed to Duke. Do you find that crazy? Like you already pretty much committed to a college already?
Yeah, so my intention was never really to commit early. It was more so to build relationships with those coaches. Me, my dad, and my mom sat down and we kind of picked out 4 to 5 colleges that, had interest in me and that I had interest in. And I went to camps all last, I want to say it's fall and spring, and just determined where I wanted to go. And Duke really was the best fit, it felt like, for me. What Coach Pollard's done with that program over the last few years, him installing that blue collar mentality into that program is really, was a game changer. And I mean, he says it's a 40-year plan, not a 4-year plan. So, after baseball's all done, and hopefully I have a long career like you guys did, but after that's all done, being able to have that Duke degree and rely on that.
That's cool. 40-year plan. Like, I want the portfolio. What am I investing in? Todd's big on that. Like, I want the whole deal.
No doubt.
That's really cool. Hey, so tell us about your perfect game experience, some guys that you've come across that really stood out, and how much the experience obviously has helped you going up against top-tier talent, because you're coming out of Michigan originally, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll touch back on it, but the 13U Select Fest, that was like, that was a huge deal for me. I really had that as a goal in mind after my 12U season. I thought I had a really good 12U and I thought I was good enough to go to it, but that was just motivation for me. And being able to, see all that gear for the first time when you step in that hotel room's awesome, and being able to, play with the top guys in the country, and you almost kind of get treated like a big leaguer. It feels being able to take a bus to the fields and take BP 3-4 days before. All that's awesome, and obviously it's great. But I think the best part of the whole experience was being able to. So 13U, we had 2 kids from the East Tennessee Children's Hospital, Holston and Noah, come and visit us, and we just played wiffle ball and video games with them, and they were so, happy and satisfied with that. It was really just infectious seeing how, pleased they were with that. And then this year, we went to Galisano Children's Hospital of Southwest Florida, and that was not to say a better experience, but we were definitely more involved. We got to actually go to the hospital, and there was a ton of kids. I'd say there was 30, 40 kids, and just being able to see them laugh and run around and have a good time was really heartwarming.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You have the focus of what you need to focus on to be a catcher, focusing on other people. But yourself, what are some PG measurables that you want to try to improve on, or like a number you want to get as a catcher, like your pop time that PG puts out there and puts on your profile?
Yeah, so I'd definitely say, obviously the rankings are awesome, but they're just more so motivation for me, being able to, work towards moving up in the rankings. And then as far as catching goes, I'd say probably having, I don't know, 1.9 pop time would be cool. And then this year, hopefully 80 catcher velo would be really cool as well.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I wish I had 80 catcher velo.
Hell yeah.
Is there a catcher you look up to right now in the big leagues, or somebody in the past?
Yeah, I'd say Yadier Molina. He was my role model just forever. The way he commands the pitching staff and his team, he's almost just like a manager while he's playing, which is awesome, and what I try and do on the field as well.
Who would be your second?
Mr. Kratz.
Yeah, let's go.
Dude, you dropped a mister.
We're gonna
on
show
I was
it.
this
gonna say
one. He's in the bigs
I'll tell my dad. That's cool.
I was
I'll tell
hoping
my
you were-
dad you're a big fan.
Yeah, I like that. Hey, do you have questions for these guys? Anything that you want to ask them that you think about when you're like, all right, big leaguers, how do you do this?
Of course. So first one, Mr. Frazier, what do you think? Obviously, being in the big leagues for a long time is, what was your approach? If if it changed, or if you just stuck with one, or if it changed with each pitcher, what was it?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. It just depended, man. Eric can actually answer this too. I mean, for me, I was a fastball hitter. I was looking fastball away the whole time, and I was reacting. And then, in the beginning of my career, I was raw. I was a free swinger. And finally, I understood I'm not always going to get a fastball in these situations. And then I wouldn't necessarily sit off speed, but I'd slow my legs down, my mindset down. Eric knows I'd still be off balance, and I'd find a way to get a hit. So for me, it was always the same approach. Look at fastball away until I get to 2 strikes. Then I get my 2-strike approach and try and dominate. And me and Eric had some good battles back in the day.
Awesome. Thank you. And then one more for Mr. Kratz. What do you think, being a catcher is the best characteristic for a big league catcher?
Well, you could read my book, Tao of the Backup. The best characteristic is exactly what you've displayed in this interview. You talked about helping out other people. You talked about, how much of a blessing it is to have the opportunity to be in the 13 select showcase. Like, those are the things that, like, being appreciative of where you are will help you be the best catcher. Listen, physical tools, the higher up, and you've seen it in these showcases you go to, dudes are going to have the same tools as you. Some are going to even be better. Some guys are going to look down on you and be like, oh, he's not as good. I'm better than him. All that stuff needs to be pushed aside, because when you're catching, you have to worry about that dude that's out on the mound and the 7 other guys that are out on the field, and you get to watch, and you get to be the guy that controls them, pushes them in places. And really, pitchers will say, well, the game doesn't start until you throw a pitch. Broder, tell them. Game's not starting until you give them a sign or you push a button, whichever it is, all right? So You be the leader on that team, and sometimes being the leader means you need to take one on the chin. And other times it means you need to hit that walk-off tank for the win.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
That was great. Really,
Thank you.
really good stuff. Hey, Broder, great to talk to you. Good luck. Keep crushing it. All right. Yeah, and Kratz?
Yeah, and when I was a kid, I used to look at players and names and stuff. And then when I was an adult playing in the big leagues, I used to look at players and names. Like I said, physically, everybody's close. A separator is a big league name. You got a big league name.
Yep.
Broder Katke? Yeah.
Yep.
We're rooting for you, kid.
We'll be watching.
Thank you guys so much. It means a lot.
Thank you, Broder. We'll talk to you soon, bud. Good luck.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers. And he is our perfect game player of the week. You can check out launchhydrate.com for 20% off on all 4 flavors, or you can scan that QR code that you see on the screen and make sure you use the claim code 20FOULLAUNCH. That was a pro interview.